My responsibility is to create an environment where everybody feels comfortable to make comedy. I really don't like cheap shots. I like things to be earned. The real writing comes from like interacting with people. People are so interesting. If you're going to attack like a business or something because you just feel like it's wronged so many people, you have to make that satire. Everybody is so offended that like it's hard to do stuff that really gets you down to your core, like this is awful, but I like that cringeworthy, crazy satire.
The Artist Square brings the most ballsy artists and creatives that not only question the world they live in, but dare to cross borders and make a difference through art. If you're looking for inspiration, knowledge, or simply connect with your favorite artist, we want this to be the space for you. I'm Alejandra Camacho and want to welcome you to the Artist Square.
Ready?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so I am super excited to introduce in this first episode of the Artist Square, Natalie Darden.
Yay!
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
For the people who don't know Natalie, Natalie is an actress, and she's been out in LA for about 10 years. But she's also a writer, and I want to include that she's a producer and an editor. Right? So the last 5 years, she's been focused on writing and producing comedy sketches for her socials with Micah and Lo. Mm-hmm. And they've had some pretty cool success with their top sketch, garnering over 2 million views on TikTok. What?
Yeah.
She doesn't only post sketches on TikTok. I understand that you also post on Instagram and YouTube. And your socials have grown so much, right? Because I understand people just love what you do.
Yeah.
I've seen it. So what I personally love about your comedy is that it doesn't matter how uncomfortable a situation is, you go and fucking write about it. And you go ahead and do it through comedy, and your approach is always open to every person's interpretation. Thanks. And you talk about very simple topics, like from whether or not people should tip to very complex ones to, like, for example, mental health issues or LGBTQ plus rights and discrimination, because I saw your last sketches too. And at the end of the day, these topics are a reflection to our very complex society, and we see it through comedy. It makes it very funny and fucked up at the same way. So I love that you start conversations, and you might even, make some people uncomfortable. We open debates and talk about issues that we don't usually talk about with our friends or family because it's just like awkward. Yeah. But you do it through comedy, and it's okay. So, I wanted to start this by asking you, how do you describe yourself apart from being like Natalie, the artist? Who are you?
I don't know. It's weird because like when you move out here, you have like definitely like a view of yourself of like, oh, I just want to like act, or I just want to do drama or whatever, like anything that somebody I'm this kind of character, I'm this, and then like slowly after being out here, being put in different situations with like other actors, even just auditioning yourself, like you just kind of understand like, oh, I'm getting like the same feedback over and over. Like I should probably do something comedy related, even though that's not like what you see for yourself, right? Like I'm just pointing out, like, I guess with Bryan Cranston, for example, like he started on Malcolm in the Middle, and then like, got into Breaking Bad, and same thing with Jim Carrey. He started out with comedy and he moved into drama, and like, I really, really love drama like so much, but like when I started saying, oh, some people, I'm funny, I don't think I'm funny, like at all, but like I still don't think I'm actually funny. So a lot of times, like when I write stuff, I'm like, this is awful. Like I'm relying on Micah to bring the energy and to bring like that funniness. I just like writing stuff. And then that's when I found out, oh, I love writing too. Like it's weird because it's like, I still don't have an ideal picture of myself. It's just kind of very fluid. Like, oh, okay, well, this is definitely my source of, or my idea of comedy. And I really don't like cheap shots. I like things to be earned. I like big payoffs in sketches, and you have like 3 minutes to do it. So I don't know. I'm diving more into sketch comedy. I realize how important writers are to like everything. I don't see myself as just an actor. I see myself as my responsibility is to create an environment where everybody feels comfortable, like to make comedy, you know?
Yeah. How do you make, like the set comfortable? Because I understand you do this with your friends, and I've seen Mike. I haven't met him personally, but he's like very funny, and it looks like you guys are have a great chemistry, and it looks like you create in this free space where you're able to fuck up,
Yeah.
and like improvise, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's funny because how I met him was like I did like a sketch comedy show, and I was talking to everybody, and they were like, "Oh, let's do this sketch about this," and I was like, it wasn't like what they were saying wasn't good comedy. It was just like I don't feel like I would do a great job being an actor in that because like I don't think I would tell this joke well enough, Mm-hmm. And then I started talking to Micah, and like like all of his ideas were so crazy and out there, and it was just kind of like, wow, like I like that he just like doesn't care like about anybody's opinion, and he just goes for it. And I was like, man, I just want to work with this guy. Like I don't care what like, and that was like literally now we're 5 years later, we're just making stuff together. So
that's awesome. I understand also comedy is just, it shouldn't be acted funny. It should be like all the text should be very, very serious, and then the comedy is in it. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Right. Right. Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's in the nature of the text. So the fact that is so serious and so absurd is what is just like, this is, this is fucked up and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. I think that with him, with working with Micah, which I really like, is that he, like I said, is the opposite of me. So like if I write something, I'll write it as dry and plain as possible, which is like the hidden funny thing is not the hidden funny thing is, but like it's just like blatantly there.
Yeah.
And then like I'll come to him and I'll be like, hey, I need you to like Micah-fy this. Like I need you to like do something that makes this not boring. And then like he will like add something like this last crazy sketch we did something about like Uber Eats and like not really getting your food like ever on time, and it's because like, or like your food doesn't arrive because like your driver's like actually not trying to deliver it, he's just eating it in the car, like or something. And like, because sometimes I'll just be like, where the fuck is my food? I just see that he's like circling the block, and then he starts a timer, and it makes my my fat ass get up and have to go downstairs and like go get the food, and I'll be hungover. Sometimes I was like, oh dude, okay, well like let's create this scenario, and then I give him the situation. I'm like, I just want you to play this flat, but like anything that you can add. He's like, oh well, I brought this disco ball, so let's see like what we can. And then so we had this whole like, because of that one prop, we created like this whole montage in the car with the disco ball and him dancing and like eating Panda Express, and it was like that was by far like the funniest part of the whole sketch. And like I credit a lot of that like to anytime like we get a really big laugh, I'm like, it's either Matthew, my boyfriend, who like edits everything, or it's like Micah. Like I just love putting the world out there for them to like play in, you know what I mean? And part of that is knowing the strengths of your actors too. Like I've worked with so many other people too that I'm just like, oh, they play this one role really well, and I'm just gonna say, I always like say to everybody, improv whatever, as long as it doesn't sacrifice the joke or sacrifice the point of the story. And like,
exactly.
Because that's what I want. I don't want me to write for you. I want you to like come and play in the world that we've created.
Okay, where are you from and where did you grow up?
I'm from Virginia.
Okay.
I grew up like in Richmond. I was born in like Fairfax, and I went to school at William and Mary. I majored in neuroscience and theater, and then I decided
neuroscience.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I remember you told me these things.
Yeah. I was like, oh, by the way, I was like a rocket scientist before. Just kidding.
Okay.
No, not at all. It sounds more complicated than it was. It was basically I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was like,
okay.
I was like, okay, I've taken out like a shit ton of money in student loans. Like, what looks good? Neuroscience, okay. And then I was like, I really liked it, and then I just moved out here after college.
So wait, so you studied neuroscience, and how did you find this like acting thing?
Yeah, it was like when I was like around 12, I just started taking like classes because I just thought it was fun. And then like I went to high school, and then like I really got into it, and president of the Thespian Society, like everything. Like I just was like into it like 100%. And then when I went to college, I was like, okay, well, now I'm like fucking paying for my education. So like I might as well like do it in something that like be a doctor. Like, so I was like, okay, sure, I'll just like go be a doctor or something. So I really thought I was going to go to like medical school or vet school. So I just picked a science. And then I just found myself by like my 4th year getting really depressed because I didn't have like art in my life, and like not by my 4th year, but like my 2nd year. And then like by my 4th year, I had totally like in my mind been like, I'm not going to medical school. I'm not doing any of this. Because like when you shadow too, like when you shadow your doctor and your vet, you're like, oh fuck, like I have to put animals down. Like it's just like you don't think about it, or if you do think about it, you're like, oh, I'll figure out how to do it. Like, you know, it's like not. And then you go see it and you're like, oh, I can't do this. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a lot, and especially I've seen you that you love
my dog.
Animals. So
I love dogs so much. And cats.
So you didn't finish the degree, or you finished?
I finished. Yeah, I finished. No, it sits in my fucking closet, like garnering no, like I mean, like no usage whatsoever. But I double majored, so I went for theater and neuroscience, and then when I graduated, I was like coming out to my parents. I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be an artist. No, but they supported me, and they were just like, yeah, just do whatever you want to do. And
so it's amazing. It's just like you have this in you, you know. I always feel like when you're in a path that you want to go and there is something different, it's just in you, you know. It's just like you've discovered, and then you just find out that you want to do it for the rest of your life. You know?
It's like I don't care. I don't care if I'm like broke and doing this at 50. Like I just love doing it. And I mean, I'm not even getting paid, right? I'm not in a show. I'm not making my own show. But like it's funny because I'll go to my civilian job throughout the week, and then on the weekends like I'll just make sketches, and then I'm like, holy crap, like I just feel like my life calling when I do stuff like that, you know. And by no means it's like I still have so much to learn. Like I feel like I've only touched the tip of the surface. I mean, of like writing. Like I just feel like there's just so much to learn in comedy.
I wonder how specifically decide to talk about these situations. What make you inspired? Because I've seen your sketches and they're so different from each other. So it's just like, I know we got inspired by like random things that pisses us off, but I'm just like, wow, she found this thing to talk about, and she's so right so about specific. It. I know.
It's funny because we had this discussion over the pandemic, like I was unemployed and I was like beating my head against the wall, like I should be more creative. Like what's wrong with me? I'm an artiste. Like this is the one time I should be thankful that I have no other distractions. And this is why, for example, too, before I go into that, like whenever people say, oh, I wish I was like a trust fund kid, or, I didn't have to worry about having a job, right? Like I didn't have to worry about like not making money. Like, I mean, then I would be able to have all this time, like I would have endless time to work on stuff. True. The pandemic fucking showed that so many people are still lazy.
Exactly.
Despite, because I mean, I literally like was on unemployment making $2,000 like every 2 weeks to just sit there in my house. But there was something about not seeing people and not having those interactions that sacrifice. I mean, Bo Burnham did whatever the fuck he did. But like for me, I had to have those interactions in a daily life in order to like make the stories that I did, because I mean, like they were real. Like that's the only way. And like I can watch TV, but it's like the real writing comes from like interacting with people. People are so interesting. And like one of the things that we were talking about was like the FedEx one, which was the one that kind of like blew up, was done because we ordered a bed frame online, and that shit just was like in like some fucking warehouse for like weeks. And we're like, where is it? It's just like not getting here, blah, blah, blah. And like we kept checking it to see if it would, be dropped off. And we're like, where the fuck is it? And we're like, what if our FedEx driver just doesn't want to deliver it? And then like we just wrote about that. And then we just created Micah as that personality, because I was like, oh yeah, Micah can easily play this person. And like, you know, once we came up with that idea, like it was so natural. And it was like, when I found out that when I posted it online, so many people had like cathartic stories that they wanted. I would literally post it and there'd be like fucking comments on comments on comments. FedEx did this to me one time. They left it down the street from my house and like they made me do this or I never got it. And I was like, that's what makes me happy is because like, that's how you know that you struck a chord with like your audience and like, is because they're like, oh, like, this makes me laugh, but like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, but seriously, dude, yeah, like you're so right because it wasn't until I saw your sketch because I always get my deliveries through other carriers, but one day I was
FedEx.
waiting for a document.
If you're hearing this, FedEx, fuck you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This document, it was like for my visa and it had to be signed. I had to be there. And it was sent through from New York. And I was in my apartment waiting for that document. And when I was just like, okay, whatever. So, you know, I didn't get it today.
It doesn't have to deal with like my, you know, livelihood or anything.
Yeah, dude, I seriously went out like after 5 p.m., you know, after deciding it didn't come through. I went out and I saw the post on the wall. We didn't find you.
Oh yeah,
So,
sorry we missed you.
sorry
No,
we
bitch, you're
missed
not
you.
sorry. You did
And I was
not.
like, what the fuck? I was waiting for you, like in the balcony, just waiting to
Like I saw you circle my building 5
And I'm like,
times.
Natalie's so right.
No. No, it's so funny that it was FedEx that everybody got pissed at too because nobody called out USPS or UPS. But anyways, I digress. Like that it was just funny that like
Just
that
FedEx.
one experience, and it's true. Like anybody could be like a comedy writer creating those environments, right? Like just walk through your life and be like, what's odd about this? Let's create a character that purposefully is trying to sabotage me here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or like, you know, like, because like obviously comedy or great scenes just come from like two people having conflicts. Like one person wants one thing and the other person wants the other. And like the best scenes are like when they want opposite things. So like FedEx, my goal is just to get my fucking package. I don't care if I have to come down there and like take it out of his truck myself. His job, I mean, his goal is just to like get this woman out of his way. Like his goal is to not deliver this package because he just doesn't like want to work.
Yeah.
And it was just like with other things too, like emotional support animal, like emotional support human. Like we made this sketch off of like Micah's idea. It was totally Micah's idea. He was like, well, oh my God, like you can make anything an emotional support animal. Cause we saw like people bringing like fucking ostriches on planes and stuff like that. And like mice claiming, oh, this animal provides me emotional support. So like I can bring this dog, I can bring this like, you know, goat on the plane with me. And then, this is of course before they banned emotional support animals. And then Micah's like, well, let's just make a human an emotional support animal. And like
That's the easiest thing, right?
Yeah.
And a human shouldn't be banned. Like, you can't do that.
Right. And so yeah, so it was just like, you know, just starting off with like one idea that we thought was funny and like escalating it basically. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's usually how anybody could like do that though, like, you know. But it is hard. Sometimes I get into like writing ruts because I can't find something that like pissed me off lately or just like was annoying lately or just weird but they're every day and you just kind of just don't notice it and that's just life, you know?
What do you think that in these sketches, what is the main thing in your sketch that is like you either like make them pissed off or you make them like crack up?
Oh yeah. Like, okay. So we had this one where we made fun of like Spirit Airlines, right? And it was like the last part was like we had to put like it was they're so crazy that they charge for everything, right?
Yeah.
Like Spirit, let's escalate it. And then there's this one part at the end, and I swear to God, Micah was like, yeah, he was like, I don't even want to do it if we don't put a crying baby into an overhead compartment. And I was like, all right, fine. I'm getting fucking canceled today. Fine.
Wait,
and I'm
what
not
was
even
it?
popular.
About the baby?
It's the baby. When he puts the baby in the overhead compartment, I'm like, dude, this is so inappropriate. And he's like, it's satire. It's literally what this country is missing right now, because there was actually this awful story a couple years ago. I don't know if you heard this, where somebody put a barking dog into an overhead compartment and it died.
What?
Yeah, it was like a puppy. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, it was so sad. Like somebody's dog that they had carried in a carrier like was freaking out. mind you, nothing compared to like a crying child on board, but the person who like literally was like the flight attendant was like, you need to put that in the overhead compartment, and the dog died because there was a lack of oxygen.
Of course.
It's so sad. Yeah. And I was like, and then Michael brought that up and he said, this is fucking nuts. Let's go there. You know what I mean? And then, like, obviously the baby didn't die on the plane or anything like that, but it was just, like, this idea that, like, Spirit will take literally everything from your livelihood, and that's the thing is, like, if you're going to attack, like, a business or something because you just feel like it's wronged so many people, like, it's just, like, you have to make that satire. You know what I mean?
You gotta go there. And, okay, I wonder, was there any comment about someone that got offended by the baby?
Oh no, nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Everybody thought it was funny. But that's the thing is like at this point, like, because I see so many amazing comedy directors that are like, fuck it. Like my favorite comedy director, Todd Phillips, is like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like I'm only doing drama. So that's when he turned to the Joker, and because he was like, everybody is so offended that like it's hard to do stuff that really gets you down to your core. Like this is awful, but like I like that cringeworthy, crazy satire because like, but I always feel protected. Like I don't want to go that far, but Mike is like, oh, we're going there. We're just going to do it. And then come what may, you know. But you know, yeah, I do like pushing that envelope a little bit. And then Mike is the one that just like kind of kicks me off the cliff. And like, no, we're doing this. And I'm like,
leap and the net will appear.
Yeah. right. I'm like, bitch, there is no net. Like the last sketch we did, which was Gay Box, clearly made fun of. Yeah. Have you heard about like Florida's solution to not allowing abortion? They have these things called baby boxes. Have you heard about this? It's nuts. And it's people that have kids that they don't want to take care of anymore. And instead of abandoning them in a trash can, they allow you to deposit the baby into a box at a like facility, and they find a home for it or whatever. But like scotch-free. Don't have to take care of your kid anymore.
So this is in Florida?
This actually exists in Florida.
I've heard about it.
I'm like, you're not going to allow abortion, but like you'll allow shit like this. Yeah. Like it just, to me, I just thought that was crazy. And then I didn't write the gay box thing. Micah was like, yeah, let's make fun of it and just get rid of your... Oh, Micah did. I was scared to like even post it because I was like, I love gays. Like I support gay rights. I support everything like that. But he was like, it's satire. Like...
But that's dude, I saw this sketch and I was just like, this is so smart.
It was Micah. It was all Micah. Yeah, I was just like, just tell me what you love me to say.
And he cracked me up. But dude, it's based on real deep shit. It's just like, how dare you do all these things that make people feel like this? Because you know what I mean?
The whole point is to acknowledge that the shit that sometimes we deal with that is so crazy, like, needs to be pointed out. Like I think we did for the same thing the last Gay Pride. We did gay Gonosil, which is a medication that wives who are in denial of their husband being gay have to take to like pray the gay away. And it's like, we wanted to acknowledge people like who think being gay is like, you know, a choice and like, you know, not something you're actually born with, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, exactly. And it's just like, you know, like, oh, it's okay if you like love God enough, you won't be gay. Like, and we were like, oh, let's attack that, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'll be the bitch wife that like, is like, you're okay, you still love me, right? Like,
oh, so smart.
That was Micah too, yeah. So Micah's amazing. I love him.
What's the most rewarding sketch that you have made so far that you're like, I'm so proud of this, and why?
Oh, that's so hard. I'm still really attached to FedEx, and it's not even because it received so much attention, but we hadn't filmed anything in like a year and a half, and that was like our first thing that we filmed again. And I was so nervous, and I was like this isn't well written, this is bad, this is just not good. And then that sketch single-handedly kicked me back into making them like again, like on a consistent basis, because I had really like lost complete confidence of my writing. Like I was like, oh, well, you know, before that I did the juicery thing.
Yeah.
Like back in 2017 before the tipping thing became really outrageous. And that one did well, but it didn't like do that well. And I was like, okay, well, maybe something's wrong with my writing, because I'm not going to be like, oh, well, TikTok's algorithm is just stupid, or the algorithm on YouTube is bad. Like, because that just sounds like a failure to me. Like, you should obviously just like get better, you know? Yeah. So when I came back with FedEx, I was like, okay, this is funny. And Matthew had kind of helped me like develop the sketch too, because he actually gave me the idea. Oh, let's write about this. We talked about it. I wrote out a script, and then when we posted it, it did okay. And then I had reposted it, and it just like blew up. And to me, that was like the kick of like, okay, I am doing something right here. Something is hitting with people. I just got to keep at it, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, that was still the funnest sketch today. Yeah, like to do, because it was just it was me, Matthew, Micah, and then Charles was doing sound, and it was the simplest sketch we did. It was just all done in a doorway, and like to me, that was like pure. Like the only way somebody could be engaged for 3.5 minutes like this is if it's an interesting idea, and that's when I liked it.
Yeah. I also think that with that sketch, just you guys started being like more on people's face about what's like fucked up about, about these issues. I love that you're like, well, I've been here all day and I didn't hear any knock or something like that. And you're like, oh, well, there you are.
I know. Like, I love the, like, I just love the, I love the note.
Decency.
Yeah, exactly. I love the note for Micah, which is just like, just be more of an asshole. Like, just, be more preppy. Like, be, you know what I mean? Just like, and like, it was funny because he came the first take he did, he was like, I kind of want to play this like a stoner. I was like, okay, we'll do that. And then the second take, you're going to do it the way that I want you to do it. Because the way that I want you to do it, like, it's going to be really, really, really good. And then like, he did it and it was just like gold. I was like, oh my God, this is like why I want to do comedies. Because I watched Micah do scenes like this and I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just like, awesome, I love him.
And which one stayed? The one that he?
Oh, it was me. Like the stoner one. I was like, it's good, but it's not as good as like the idea is like what attitude do we want to attach to this corporation that everybody hates? We want to make sure they're not stoners. They know what they're doing. Like we want that idea. So,
what would you say is your biggest fear? Either like creating, like it can be writing or acting or producing, whatever it is. Like, what would it be like? Oh, I have to overcome this every single time I do it.
So every time I start filming, I actually like get really nervous like 30 minutes before. And it doesn't even matter that I'm filming with my friends or whatever, but I hate coming to any set not being prepared, right? Like, oh shit, we were supposed to have this prop or we were supposed to have this. And I was like, I hate being unprepared. Like, I also just, I don't really give a shit if it's not funny because every single time that we do it, even if it isn't funny, we learn something from it.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, oh, okay, that joke didn't land or that didn't really hit. Like, was it my writing? Was it like the delivery? Was it the direction? Was it the editing? So much is like sometimes rooted in the editing. Like this cut wasn't fast enough. So this joke didn't really do well. And then I started really loving editing for that reason because editing is like that final step that you take to like executing your script, right?
Yeah.
Like so much of the time, like I don't think we have shit when we film. And then when I edit it, it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, like we have this. Like, why did I not think that we had this when we were shooting it? And I think that's what I've appreciated most from doing these sketches. I really get to appreciate how hard everybody really works on a set, like from the writers to the actors to the directors to the props people to the, because like I have to just do that on such a minuscule level. But Jesus God, like if I had to do that, like on an actual set, like each part is so important to making it. Like you can't rely, like you need everybody,
Seriously. Yeah, because one little thing that someone misses, it can take 2 hours to recover.
Yeah, it's like, Matthew, I'm just always kind of like in awe of him because he's my boyfriend. Like he films and edits and like just like always comes up with these amazing like shots and does the lighting and the sound and like he will do literally lighting, sound, and video record our sketches. And I'm like, this looks like professional shit. Like this, people are like, how did you afford this? And I'm like, I have somebody just doing all of this. Like, and it's because he loves doing it so much. But oh my God, we put so much pressure on him, I'm sure, So when I can, I try to get somebody that's like a boom operator and stuff like that. Because I physically can't boom operate and be on screen at the same time. No, so that's kind of the hard part. But I'm just really appreciative that he taught me so much stuff like on set because I'm like I probably wouldn't have nearly the confidence that I do now filming stuff if it wasn't for him. Seriously,
it's what you need, a team that loves what they do. And
yeah, like he's always down to do it. I'm just like, can you help me film on this day? He's like, yes. Like, what do you need? Like, blah, blah, blah. Mike is always down. Like, Charles
so
is always
cool.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what time do you need me there? What do you, like, you know, and it's like, anybody else I would, be like, oh, how much do I need to pay you or whatever. I'm like, they're like, oh, I don't know, just give me lunch or something. Yeah. So it's like, oh, we just all like doing this. I love that. You know what I mean?
Was there a point in your creative process that makes you wanted to quit? And if there was one, how did you keep going?
Yeah, that period between like the Starbucks sketch and like the FedEx sketch, I think there was like I said, a year and a half.
Okay.
I was like really, because I just couldn't write anything, and it's just like so much stuff that's like, and Micah's writing style is very different from mine. So like he'll send me stuff, and the character is like already on the page, right? So like I'll read his stuff, and I'll be like, oh wow, this is like a lot for me to take in. Like I can't play this kind of character, like. You know what I mean? Like I want a lot of stuff. Like he comes from a very groundlings based school of thought, and I come from like UCB school of thought. So
Okay,
like,
sorry, explain that to me, because I know UCB is like this formula, you know?
Yeah.
And then the groundlings more like character work.
at least from what I have understood from groundlings, I've only taken the first level, but I've also talked to other people who perform regularly at groundlings, is that they come on stage with a character developed. It is like SNL. They have somebody that's going on stage that has a very distinct personality, and it just kind of is like almost, I don't want to say it wrong because it's totally wrong if I say this, but like erratic. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of the characters are based in like a feeling or an emotion, or, whereas like and this might have just been like because of 101 that I experienced that. But I remember going to UCB 101, and then I finished all the way up to 401 because I liked their method of teaching, which is that every interaction that you have with somebody is completely grounded until something unusual is said or done. And then if this is true, what else is true? Like, what else is crazier about the situation? And it kind of like gives a natural escalation to like any improv scene, right? With groundlings, I think people have to be so talented to do the characters like right off the bat. Like, and it does, I do feel like UCB is better for writers, and I do think that groundlings is better for actors. You see what I'm saying? So he loves the groundlings, and I loved UCB, and I was like, okay, well, I write the scripts this way, and he's like, oh, I'm writing them with like very character forward pieces, and I'm like, okay, but let's just be friends first, and then like let's find out that you have like an allergy to like silverware or something. You know what I mean? Like, like, or like I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I would be. It's kind of like that difference, and at least I'm sorry. What was the original question? What was like UCB?
I forgot.
Sorry. I was like, I could talk about UCB all day because I love it.
That if there was like a moment you saw yourself struggling and you're like, to the point that you wanted to quit.
Oh yeah, to the point I just stopped like right after
like,
the Starbucks sketch and like the discount Folger sketch where I like throw scalding hot coffee on like a runner bot next to me, and
I remember that one.
It was so funny, and he had written that one, and I was like, dude, like I can't write anything like that. And then I just kind of like took some time off, and then yeah, that's when I was just kind of like, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh fuck, like I was like,
It was more like the pandemic made all of us like we lost everything.
Yeah,
it was just that.
I was like, oh cool, I don't have to go into my bar job anymore. Oh, also I can't act because like everything is virtual now, and I don't consider online classes helpful. I really just don't. Like, I think you need to see people in person. I actually get annoyed now that like people want to do online classes and charge the same as like in-person classes. Yeah, there's plenty of classes that I'm like, no, you're charging the same amount to see you in person as you are online. Like, I get so much more. Like, you don't have the camaraderie of a class that you do online as you do in person. Like, you just don't,
I agree with you. It should be a little cheaper.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, just make it cheap so like my cheap ass can afford it. Like,
For sure. So how do you decide to go to be like, okay, I'm feeling like shit because there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah, I can't like
do
anything.
You were like, you know what? No, I'm going to go back. Because it's hard to get out there once you're like, because I felt it myself. So how would Natalie be like, let's keep going?
I usually hit up Micah immediately. And I know it's like weird, but like, I'm like, he's my comedy soulmate with a lot of things. And sometimes like, I'll just text him something, and like he'll text me back something, and like we'll just be kind of like funny, like the way that like we'll just go back and forth and like try to make a situation more crazy via text. And I'm like, oh my God, I miss that. Like I miss like heightening situations to the point of absurdity, and like with Micah, you know? And so a lot of times when I'm feeling down, I still do it like all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I can't like write something, you know? Because like writers and I feel like actors, anybody creative has that negative headspace sometimes. I'll just hit him up and I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot that like when we create stuff together, it feels right, you know?
So you get yourself a teammate.
yeah, for real. Get yourself like somebody that like you work well with, you know?
Because I always feel too that there's something that we have that urgency to talk about. So we hold to that and focus on that. Everything else will disappear. And you can like go ahead and do it, you know, instead of focusing on the negative, I would say. So
sometimes, it's like weird, but you as a creative need permission to, I don't know the right word to say. I'm writing a pilot right now, for example. And like every fucking time I like try to take it to the next level, I'm like, who the fuck do I think I am that I could do a pilot? And then all I need to do is I talk to my friend BJ, you know, BJ Miner. He was in Mike on Hulu. He's really great. I hit him up, and this dude is a endless vat of supportiveness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, you can do this. There's so much shit out there these days that people have had it made, and you can do this. And then, so like every time I'm like, oh, I don't think I should make this because like I hit him up, or I hit Micah up, or I hit people up for that support, and they always provide it. They always remind me like, oh yeah, you know, you are great. Like, because it's just like you have that thought all the time. You know, it's like, but your friends, man, that's how you get out of those rough spots. I owe everything to them, for real. My boyfriend too is the same way.
When you edit, 'cause I know it's hard because you mentioned it before. 'Cause you have this message when you write, right? But when you edit, is your message still there with the final result, or it's not like, oh fuck, it's not there? Like it actually changed a little bit. It's good. But should I stay with this, or should I go back to the original message?
That's a really good question, actually, because I definitely, I felt that so many times on the sketches I've done, like the, not the Uber Eats, but I did one on an Uber driver that just won't shut the fuck up when you're in the car or something.
Oh yes, I saw that.
And it was so long-winded. But the problem is I just let Micah riff for like 4 minutes, and I was like, everything he's saying is so funny, like, because he's like batshit crazy, and like, I have to keep everything. Like I have to, like I felt like this need. I was like, I can't let that one go. That's such a good line. Oh my God, I can't, you know. And to that effect, it did kind of dilute like the the original message of it. But my goal is always to like get the original message across that I originally wrote for. You know what I mean? Matthew is usually is a lot of times responsible for editing our higher quality stuff, because he really just knows what to do with like the coloring and everything, and he can do a really good job like zoning in on stuff that like I'm trying to say but I can't really get to it, and then I'll see his edit and I'll be like, oh my God, that's great, you know. Like the ESH one was the only one that we like really butt heads on. He shaved it down to like 1.5 minutes. I was like, we need it to be 2 minutes and like 45 to 3 minutes like 3 minutes, you know. Because there's just too much that I want to say about these characters, you know? But he was like, no, but like, we're just going to get down to like the, you know, the brass tacks. I was like, by doing that, you're getting rid of all the comedy though, like all this like interactions. And like, he's like, well, if you make it too long, people will lose interest and they won't get the point of it. And I was like, yeah. So he taught me kind of how to do that, you know? But I'm still getting better at that. He is a master at it. However, I will have to slow his roll sometimes and be like, you cut out way too much shit. Like, you need to put stuff back in. Like, I was like, you literally just have us entering the car and leaving. Like, that's it.
Like, what happened in there? Nothing. You took everything out.
But yeah, he really taught me how to do all that stuff. So
yeah. Also, I've experienced this with the sketch that I made a couple years ago, is that you get attached to so much to your own creation and to your own lines, and even acting sometimes is like, oh, you know what? I did this and I did it good. I kind of want to put it in there. And it's somebody else sees it and just like, yeah, but it doesn't work. So it's like, no, but it's my creation. It's my baby.
The one
so hard.
Oh yeah, no, you're totally right. Because like, I mean, it's funny because sometimes I'll be like, this last one in the Uber Eats sketch, I had like a line where I just really liked my delivery of it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to put that shit in my demo reel. And Matthew's like, well, I can put it to the side if you want, and then you can just put that part in your demo reel. I was like, no, I want that. I want the line in the sketch. And he's like, but it doesn't, like, it's not. And I'm just like, no, I want the line. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like rare that I say that for myself. I usually fight for Micah's shit because I write stuff and I'm like, I'm not like all the way there with like the writing, and then he does it and I'm like, that's what I wanted. Like that's the way I wanted it to deliver. And then I'll fight because I usually am just fighting with Matthew about keeping or leaving stuff out, you know. But yeah, it's weird though because we'll get perfect shots sometimes. It'll be like the perfect delivery of the line, but because it doesn't match up with the opposite delivery that well, it doesn't make that part as strong. So you have to kind of like be like, fuck, like I should have matched his energy on this. Yeah. But I can't do that now because like the back and forth doesn't really work here. You know what I mean? So now we'll have to go pick another scene, you know.
At the end, I feel like if you want to keep the original message, you got to fight with the editor. And
right.
You got to be like that back and forth and play around, even if it takes you a little longer, and how the best way to convey the message.
Right. It is. I love editing so much. I have so much respect for actual editors. The amount of footage and shit they have to go through to get the original intent down. But I love it so much when I wrote something, and then when I'm editing it and I can see exactly what I wrote, the way that I imagined it, and it just like dopamine hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God. Even if I see Matthew do it, because like now, like, I'll try my hardest to edit something. I'm like, okay, Matthew, help me. And he'll just like do it really quick and be like, is that what you want? And I'm like, yes. Like, but it's great to like when you're doing it yourself and you're like, oh wow, I wrote this and now I have the exact line that I wrote. And it's perfect. And it's like, oh. That's great.
Dopamine. That's amazing to hear, you know, that you get that like,
yeah, like that
satisfaction. Yeah. Who was Natalie before creating and after creating? Like before you started doing all these sketches, how did you feel? And now how you feel?
Right. I felt helpless before I could create my own shit. Yeah. Like, and at one point I just decided I'm just going to start making my own stuff, because at least then like I am getting better and like I am in control of the content that I'm creating, or like I have at least some control of it. Like I don't have to like wait around, like, you know what I mean? And then the minute that happened, and then that's when I kind of understood you need to go make your own content, or you need to find a way to like do it yourself. To me, it's like I finally got to that point where I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I like to do, and like I'm just gonna have to get success by myself, because like I can submit myself to Actors Access, I can submit myself to LA Casting, and sometimes those are the auditions that I'm getting from my manager or my agent. And I'm like, the whole point of getting a manager or an agent is to get past that gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Get access to those breakdown services. You bring them the materials that would make you successful, and you are prepared. You need help to get over that hump. But the problem is I've seen so much lately of actors getting themselves over that fucking hump, and then like the manager and agent following. And that's just like, to me, it's like, are they there anymore to actually help us? Or are they just there to reap the benefits off of the people that are doing the job? You know what I mean? And I don't know anybody in this industry besides maybe one person that is actually happy with their manager or their agent, because of that same reason. Yeah. Like, they're like, okay, well, normally it's like I'm pulling, and then the other people that are, I guess, getting the auditions, you know, like they already got themselves up. Like I said, they already got themselves over that hump, you know? So it's, once I accepted that, like, okay, a manager and agent isn't going to do anything for me, I need to do this for myself. then I just, I got past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And dude, you're doing great. Like, honestly,
I'm not making money yet off of it, but I just love doing it.
Dude, seriously, like, you guys are gonna remember this girl. Cause
no, not at all.
No, seriously, you're starting slow, but there's so much meat in your content that I'm pretty sure
I appreciate
go big
it.
places.
Thanks.
What are your hobbies and how these hobbies affect or feed your content and your creative process? Because I know, like, you're you love skiing. Was it skiing?
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
And you have Stout, who is your dog, and like he's like so beautiful, and you take him like everywhere. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Tell us about your hobbies.
My hobbies, I love snowboarding. In fact, the pilot I wrote is on a snowboarding resort because I love the environment, the people that are involved with it. I think all of them are so rich and full and colorful every time I go to a resort. And it's like everybody just wants you to succeed there. And it's a different environment than acting. Like, snowboarding is like the one environment where they just all want you to like snowboard. They just want you to like learn how to do it because they face so much opposition. Like in the 90s, I was reading about this a lot too because I was like interested in writing my pilot. Snowboarders on the mountains were like definitely not welcome by skiers, in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, because snowboarding was relatively new.
Okay.
And then skiers were just like, they just like smoke pot and like, all they do is like cuss and stuff, and it's like they don't wear like these like high-end luxury like items to like snowboard. They're just like kind of in baggy pants or whatever. And I just thought that tapestry was so interesting of like having like uptight skiers and like relaxed snowboarders. It's like, this is so funny, like that this like existed for so long. And then every time I go there, it's like snowboarders, they just want people to like snowboarding. You know what I mean? Versus actors, it's like so cutthroat out here. Like the minute you walk into a room, like somebody thinks that you're auditioning against them. Like, bro, like I'm just getting brunch. Like, I don't need to like, outperform anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, it's just like a very loving sport,
Yeah.
And I really like that. That's why I started writing about it. And then my dog, I love spending time with my dog. He's in a couple sketches too. I try to like.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
the one with the homeless.
He's that one like that awkward moment when you don't have a dog bag to pick up your dog shit.
Yeah.
Like somebody.
Oh my god, that's crazy. You know what sketch I loved? The one with this one hit me hard.
What?
The one with the board game? Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Dude, I seriously thought, Natalie, I was the only one who felt anxiety when rules were explained.
I was like,
because my friend, he organizes game nights every Wednesdays. And when they start explaining,
it's
I'm
fucking
like,
weird. I don't want to learn something new every Wednesday.
Like, I need to get this because I don't want to look like a fool, not understanding like basic rules, And then I get like, I'm gonna be bad at this. I'm gonna suck. I'm gonna be like, and then I saw your sketch and I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, it exists.
It exists.
I have mad anxiety around playing board games. I have mad anxiety with anybody giving me instructions. I cannot tell you how long it took me to figure out how to edit because my boyfriend had to teach me and how many fights we had. Just learning stuff in general, like brand new stuff, like, and then just at being a board game. I'm like, the fuck? This is supposed to be fun. This was supposed to be a leisurely activity, and I have to like learn rules to a game. I don't give a shit if I win. Like, I don't care. Like, so a lot of times it just like was so deflating. Like, I was like, oh my God, I need to write about this. Like, but then of course there's like hilarious, I can't even attribute it all to my personal feelings. So there's like there's hilarious memes online too about people that are like I have ADHD and I have to
I've never seen one. I swear to God.
I want to come up with like a name for a phobia of that, like a phobia to learning new board games, because that's me, bro. Like,
we shed a light. Like, seriously, I started just like, oh man,
I feel hurt.
I feel it's okay to have anxiety while playing board games.
Oh, fucking card games are the worst. Like,
Yeah.
the card games is like, you want to play, like, my boyfriend loves playing euchre or, like, Egyptian rat race. I'm like, I'm not playing those. Like, on July 4th, everybody was playing, and I was just like, Stell, come here. Like, play with me. Like, we'll throw the ball. That's easy.
Like, I want to believe that as artists, we want to change the world somehow. This is, like, how I want to do with my art. I mean, I have a certain responsibility with what I do, me, Alejandra, that it has a purpose beyond ourselves, you know? But there's also a part that is a very selfish thing to do with our art, and it's okay, you know?
Yeah.
So because without that satisfaction that we get with our art when we do it, we wouldn't be able to affect the other person. So my question is, what would the satisfaction of your own self be? Did I explain to myself?
Yeah, and definitely, because I understand, like you said, like, it's bigger than yourself, and that actually is satisfaction to you, is what you said?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, for me, you know, I want to do something that affects the other one, but at the same time is affecting me, and that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So what's that satisfaction
Oh, I
for
see.
Natalie?
Yeah. That's very, yeah, because, like, you know, martyrs feel very good about, like, what they do, like, if they have to put themselves out on the forefront, but something great happens from it, and then, like, but you get satisfaction out from that, too. I was just thinking about, like, some word to describe that. I want people to feel comfortable making jokes again. I'm really done with seeing jokes that are. I was watching the or listening to the podcast with Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, and they mentioned, oh, this could never be done. There's a lot of, like, tongue-in-cheek jokes. I was like, well, that's funny because it's still, like, the most streamed. It was at the time the most streamed show on Netflix. So somebody's thinking this is funny. In fact, most people do think it's funny. But why is it, if it's so inappropriate, why is it the most streamed show, like, comedy show?
Yeah.
If it's so inappropriate, if it's so wrong, if it's like these jokes are so bad, why is it the most streamed? It's because, like, I think we need to use diversity, in my opinion, to work together to be able to make jokes. Do you see what I'm saying? Is like, I think that having an all white cast is so bad. I think it's having, you know, a whole cast full of just, like, one race, one person, like, with no perspective is just, like, it just hurts your show in the end. You know what I mean? Because you want to have as many different diverse perspectives on things as possible to make it, like, something that we can all consume and, like, brings us together as an audience, as opposed to us making fun, like, pointing out jokes that are off-putting or off-color or something like that. And it's like, well, if we're all working together to make comedy, we can actually make comedy great again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, not sounding like Trump here. I'm just saying is, like, I just want more diversity on set, and I want us all to be working together to make these jokes that, like, you know, I don't know the right word for this, is like, I want us all to be able to make jokes together that highlights the beauty of, like, different races and the beauty of different, like, people and like women versus men, you know, like, it's just like, I wish that I would see more shows like that, as opposed to, like, so much of Hollywood these days is, like, focused on, like, oh, well, we need to reach a quota, so we're going to make a show this way, or, like, this diverse, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, use the diversity in your writing, use it in the way that the show is made, use it, like, you, like, tell real stories, you know what I mean? Because, like, we all like, we are different, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a totally different background than you. You know, you've experienced different things than I have grown up, and I want to use that in comedy, but people are so scared to do that, you know what I mean? That, like, you know, I in the new pilot I wrote, I have, like, every different race imaginable. And it's like, you know, maybe that's not, like, an actual depiction of what a mountain would look like, but I want to have as many different perspectives as possible to make this comedy so that we can all laugh together again and not be just mad. I want comedy to bring us together versus, like, separate us, you know? I think that comedy has taken a dip in the last few years because people are so scared to, like...
Yeah, because they also... Yeah, they get offended and they're so afraid of, like,
cancel culture.
And
I mean, there's definitely stuff that I'm like, yo,
culture.
that was inappropriate, off color, like, not cool. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, it's scaring so many great creators from working with each other. You know what I mean? I've worked, one of the comedies I worked on was Pump. It was like a show on Urban Flicks, and I had to be like this like bitch executive that comes in, and it was an all black cast. And I loved working on it because I just thought, I was just like, oh my God, like this is just like diverse. Like it's just so diverse. And like, I love that. I love being in an environment where like, I'm not like it's not all of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want there to be like that rich tapestry of people and color and like, you know, I want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you because also it's in our nature. So it's kind of like, why are you denying that nature that each person brings with them because they're so unique and they have a different background?
Right.
I feel like we're kind of like
it's by putting in quotas of diversity, we are whitewashing everything. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's not that like it's like I want roles to be written for a person with this background. I want something to be written like this character is supposed to be black. This is Hispanic. Like colorblind casting is not colorblind casting. Yeah. Like it really isn't. Like people still have a motive behind who they cast. You know what I mean? Like, and I actually want that motive to be from somewhere good. From like, oh, we just really want like, you know, somebody like this on set, regardless of, you know. But like, but in the past, people like higher up Hollywood has been like, kind of almost only casting white people for that reason. Like, oh, well, because, you know, we're white and they're white, we can see where they're coming from with this. Well, it's like, no, we need to like change from within. We need a more diverse cast. We need more diverse writers. We need more diverse directors. Like diversity across all pages, to me, in my opinion, would work.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm a big advocate of diversity, but like real diversity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah. Final question. What's your favorite thing about America? About your country?
Wow.
Like, wow, I love this. And, you know,
like if I went to like Italy tomorrow, right, and then I came back into America, I'd be like Chick-fil-A. Like,
Chick-fil-A. Okay, cool.
No, I'm kidding. No, because I just love their chicken sandwich. I'm just playing.
I love chicken.
Oh, Dave's hot chicken is better though. Yeah, at the risk of sounding like repetitive here, yeah, the diversity. Okay. When I moved out here, I loved all the different people I met. Like it felt like growing up in Richmond, and I get it that it's not all of America that's like that. When I grew up in Richmond, it was just like the same people that came from the same background. And then when I came out here, it was just this gorgeous like melting pot of like we have, you know, we have the gays, we have black people, white people, like Hispanics, like Asians. We have people that are mixed, and like I really like that because it's like to me it has brought me out of my shell more than anything. Like I feel like when I talk to a lot of people back from home who kind of still hang out with like the same people, like it just was like, wow, like I've just learned so much from like, you know, meeting new people out here. It's like, I love that about America. Yeah. I love how diverse it is. I love that like state by state it's different. Yeah.
It is true. Has something different because different immigrants like from different parts of the world concentrated in these states, and that's what makes them unique. And it's so interesting to see what makes them different. Yeah. You know, so diversity.
I mean, yeah, it's different too because it's like LA is just like one of those places that's really like that, and I wish that every state had a city like LA to have that exposure to people that like are so passionate about what they do that they moved literally thousands of miles away to do it here with no money. And like they just want to be around other people that want to do it. Like that's crazy to me. Like no other city, no other reason that people move to that city other than like for jobs or, you know what I mean? Like art is one of those things that brings people together despite money, despite, you know, a difference in backgrounds. Like that's what's great about LA to me. I love it here.
Me too. Honestly, we have a bad reputation in the East Coast.
Yeah, you were from New York, yeah?
I'm from New York. Yeah. Like because I transferred from LA to New York, and then when I got there, it was just like, oh, people from LA are just so lazy, or like these are like that. Yeah, and New York is famous because it's so diverse. But hey, there's so much diversity going on here. I mean, not next to where I live, there's Thai Town and Little Armenia, and
the food in Thai Town is solid.
Yeah, so I'm just like, well,
it's so good.
What the hell? Yeah. LA is amazing too. Yeah, we have a different pace, of course, and we have a different lifestyle, but hey, we're very diverse. There's so much going on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've changed political parties since moving here. I was conservative until I moved out here. And then I was like, oh shit, there's like a lot of issues that like I don't think about because I haven't met the people that made me think about them. Because I am super open-minded, like about anything that's political whatsoever. And I just try to keep my like brain open to like new information. This is the city to do it in, because it's like I've met conservative, I've met, you know, more liberal people, but like I've literally changed political parties since I've been out here. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you know, because I just love talking to new people.
Yeah.
And it's just
Love
like,
it, Lay.
yeah, I know.
Cool. Okay. What are your socials so people can follow you?
Yeah.
On TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you have.
It's pretty hard. It's just my name, Natalie Darden.
Natalie Darden.
Actually, so at for Instagram it's at Natalie Darden, Natalie Darden, Darden, and then TikTok it's the same thing. And then YouTube, it's literally my name too.
Natalie Darden. Easy peasy.
At Natalie Darden, yeah.
Awesome.
I just didn't even like think that I had changed that. Sorry. Anyways.
Yay. Okay,
Yeah.
so please go and follow Natalie, because honestly, it's, you never know what she's going to post next. And it's like, go ahead and follow Natalie.
so great
Because
to
she's so creative. Her team is so creative, and it's so fun to watch what she's posting. Thank you so much for being here.
I
and
really,
accepting.
this is so nice.
amazing.
Thanks for bringing me here. This was really fun. Thank you.
Yay.
I appreciate it.
I
Yay.
appreciate you.
Yeah.